Shaquille O'Neal explains why he thinks the 76ers super team isn't going to work. The Philadelphia 76ers have had a dream off season, having landing LeBron James in free agency, Jaylen Brown via trade.
Shaquille O'Neal just pulled the emergency brake on the LeBron James hype train in Philadelphia. While sports media is busy celebrating this newly assembled Eastern Conference super team, the big Hall of Famer dropped a dose of harsh reality. Shaq broke down the exact ego clash that will destroy this roster before they ever smell an NBA championship ring. Do you agree with Shaq that too many big egos will ruin Philadelphia? Or can LeBron actually make this work? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Is going to work. On the latest episode of the Big Podcast, co-host Adam Lefkoy, I can't pronounce his name, mentioned how Philadelphia would explode if James helps. And the Sixers' 43-year title drought, and O'Neal pumped the brakes on the hype train.
Everybody in the mainstream media is over there twerking it up for this new lineup. But then I came across an article this morning from Fadeaway World, and it says, Shaquille O'Neal explains why he thinks the 76ers super team isn't going to work. The article breaks down how the Philadelphia 76ers have had a dream offseason, landing LeBron James in free agency and acquiring Jaylen Brown via trade. James and Brown have been added to a 76ers roster that already featured Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and VJ.
And as you mentioned, 43 years, Philadelphia is waiting to explode. And if he delivers it, this city will ride. Like, they will ride for LeBron.
And that's why it's not going to work, in my opinion. You just said he, right? Tyrese Maxey just worked his ass off to become the man.
Totally.
Jaylen Brown comes out.
Jaylen Brown.
So Jaylen Brown, whatever his name is. So now for Tyrese Maxey, do you back off or do you say, no, I'm still going to do what I do?
No, because he's still...
Finish. Oh, go ahead. Finish. Then Brown comes. Now we got Joel Embiid. It's too many egos. Some 3 or 4 people are going to have to say, all right, you go.
If I may.
Yes.
Tyrese Maxey is the guy who I think...
Fans in Philadelphia are starting to dream about winning a championship, and optimism is sky high. But Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal is not convinced this super team is going to work at all. On the latest episode of The Big Podcast, co-host Adam Lefkoe mentioned how Philadelphia would explode if James helps end the Sixers' 43-year title drought, but Shaq pumped the brakes on the hype train immediately. When Lefkoe said Philadelphia is waiting to explode after 43 years without a trophy, and that the city will ride for LeBron if he delivers, Shaq cut him right off. Shaq straight up said, and that's why it's not going to work in my opinion.
Tyrese Maxey is the guy who I think deserves almost all of the credit for LeBron going there, because I've never seen a young guy that the rest of the stars in the NBA respect who he is as a young player. Like, I remember I was at a party with Wade and Chris Paul, and I was like, oh, Tyrese Maxey, I've never met him. And Chris Paul was like, this is the one. Like, he's the kid that gets it. Embiid has already publicly said it's Maxey's team. He's the franchise. So Embiid, this was before all this happened.
That's my point.
But I think LeBron is at that stage of his career where he's not going to, like, fight and all this stuff and get ego based in that.
Not about
They're trying to win.
Not about fighting. LeBron likes the ball. Likes to touch it.
Do you agree with that?
He gonna agree with it.
I agree to a degree.
He likes the ball.
Yeah, but he also loves making the right pass at the right time.
He does,
that's the thing that's cool about them. It's 48 minutes, and Bron not trying to dominate it for 48 minutes.
Okay, but hold on. If you touch the ball for 6, 7, 8 seconds, Brown's not a catch and go with it.
Who? Jaylen Brown?
Jaylen Brown.
He's a wild card in all this.
Throw Jaylen Brown the basketball with 3.2 on the clock. You get a bucket.
Shaq explained his reasoning. He pointed out that Tyrese Maxey just worked his tail off to become the primary guy in Philly. Maxey averaged 25.9 points and 6.2 assists per game, winning Most Improved Player and carrying the offensive workload while Joel Embiid was out. Now you bring in Jaylen Brown, who averaged 23.0 points per game in Boston and just won a Finals MVP. And then you add LeBron James, who still commands a 29% usage rate and averages 25.7 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 8.3 assists. Shaq asked a simple question: does Tyrese Maxey back off now, or does he say, no, I am still going to do what I do?
It's hard to say, man, coming off my best year, I got to put my ego down. Yeah, if Bron here.
Exactly.
How easy. Kevin Love was 40 and 20 people. He was 40 and 20. My bad. If I can't.
No, you can.
curse.
All right.
I just,
He was 40 and 20. He was doing stuff. He was out here threatening, thinking that he was you.
I just.
But he ain't like that. He like that.
No, it's because I'm listen. On paper, they look deadly, but I'm just trying to think ego-wise. Like, I mean, you know, as a
I
young,
don't think they got no ego left. Not Embiid. You
Preach.
just want to win. You just want to win at this point.
Yes.
What ego do you have?
I mean, because you know how it was being a youngster, getting a name for yourself. Once I got my name for it, I'm not stepping back for
That's why
nobody.
you was Shaq, though.
Yeah.
That's why you got 4 of them. Because it takes certain personalities that come in and say, hey, bro.
Okay, so you want Tyrese Maxey to step back because
No, he not.
Shaq pointed out that there are way too many big egos crammed into one locker room. 3 or 4 guys are going to have to sacrifice their touches. And in real life, stars who just had the best years of their careers do not like taking massive steps back. Dante Jones tried to argue that LeBron is at a stage in his career where he does not care about ego and just wants to win. But Shaq hit him with real basketball facts. Shaq said, LeBron likes the ball, likes to touch it. Shaq explained that LeBron is not a catch-and-shoot player who stands in the corner for 48 minutes. LeBron dribbles, surveys the defense, and holds the ball for 6, 7, or 8 seconds per possession. And Shaq asked, what happens to Jaylen Brown in that setup? Jaylen Brown is not a catch-and-go player either. Shaq asked Dante Jones, when was Jaylen Brown's best year? Jones admitted it was last season, and Shaq countered immediately, when he had the ball, not catch-and-go. When he has the ball 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds, he goes to work. He is not going to have that now. Now he is going to have to catch and go. It is hard to say, man. Coming off my best year, I gotta put my ego down. Shaq brought up historical proof to back up his point. He brought up Kevin Love in Cleveland. Before joining LeBron in 2014, Kevin Love was averaging 26 points and 12 rebounds per game in Minnesota. Once he got to Cleveland, Love was turned into a glorified corner three-point shooter, dropping his averages down to 16 points a game and taking all the media heat whenever the Cavaliers lost. Shaq knows what he's talking about because Shaq played with elite superstars his entire career. He won 3 championships with Kobe Bryant in Los Angeles and 1 with Dwayne Wade in Miami. Shaq knows that when young stars get a taste of being the man, they do not voluntarily surrender their spot to an aging superstar without resentment building underneath the surface. Now let us look at the other article that came out regarding Shaq's comments on Stephen A. Smith's show. Shaq appeared on SiriusXM with Stephen A. Smith and addressed the critics who claim LeBron is ring-chasing by moving to Philadelphia. Shaq defended LeBron's right to play as long as he wants, comparing it to when Shaq signed with the Boston Celtics at the very end of his career to play alongside Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. Shaq said it is funny to hear people without rings call someone a ring chaser because LeBron is just trying to maximize his final 2 or 3 years before his body gives out completely. However, Shaq then admitted that he feels deeply sorry for Tyrese Maxey in this entire situation. Tyrese Maxey stepped up, earned an all-star spot, made third-team All-NBA, and basically declared, "Hey, I'm an all-star. This is my team now." Then Philadelphia brings in Jaylen Brown. Is Maxey supposed to take a step back? Then they bring in LeBron James. Is Maxey supposed to take another step back? That forces Tyrese Maxey to revert right back to being a regular role player after he just spent a full year proving he is the legit star. Shaq noted that taking 2 steps backward mentally breaks young stars. You cannot tell a 25-year-old who just broke out on the national stage to go sit in the corner and wait for scrap passes. Now, what are my personal thoughts about all of this? I think this Philadelphia experiment is not going to work because everybody involved is already in panic mode before training camp even opens. They are already preparing for the worst-case scenario before a single official game has been played. That tells me everything I need to know. If Philadelphia starts the season sluggishly, say going 4-6 over their first 10 games, you are going to witness an absolute media panic. Doubts will creep into that locker room immediately, and a scapegoat will be selected. And that scapegoat will be Joel Embiid. We know LeBron's historical blueprint when he joins new teams. Whenever things go wrong on a LeBron team, the media singles out one co-star to take all the heat, creating a toxic environment. He did it in Miami with Chris Bosh, where Bosh was blamed for being soft, despite averaging 18-8. He did it in Cleveland with Kevin Love. He did it in Los Angeles with Russell Westbrook, turning Westbrook into a national punchline while the team missed the play-in tournament with a 33-49 record. The Boston Celtics have established championship continuity. I do not see Philadelphia winning an NBA championship with this Frankenstein roster. Let us look at the actual statistics and numbers to see why this starting lineup setup is mathematically absurd. Joel Embiid. Career average of 27.9 points per game with a 38.0% usage rate when healthy. 8.3 assists per game with a 29.1% usage rate last season. There is literally only one basketball on the court during a 48-minute game. In an average NBA game, a team gets roughly 88 to 92 field goal attempts. How do you divide 90 shots among 4 primary scorers who all require 8 to 10 seconds of dribble time to create their offense? If LeBron takes his usual 17 shots a game, Embiid takes his 20 shots, Jaylen Brown takes his 18 shots, and Maxey takes his 20 shots, that is 75 shots taken by just 4 players. That leaves 15 total shots for the entire rest of the roster, including VJ Edgecombe, Jared McCain, and all your bench role players. That is not a functioning offense. That is a pickup game at the local gym. Furthermore, let us talk about the defensive numbers because Shaq mentioned the offense, but the defense is going to be an absolute disaster. LeBron James turned 41 years old and logged the lowest perimeter contest frequency of his career last season. He conserves his energy for transition offense and half-court playmaking. Joel Embiid has undergone multiple knee surgeries and cannot guard quick pick-and-roll guards on the perimeter. Tyrese Maxey is 6'2" and ranks in the bottom 20 percentile in defensive win shares among starting guards. When you have 3 starters who cannot play elite perimeter defense, sophisticated offenses like Boston, Indiana, and Oklahoma City will target them on every single possession. You cannot win 4 playoff rounds in the modern NBA if your starting lineup bleeds points on the defensive end. Let us also look at the historical context of LeBron's past super teams compared to true dominance. In 2010, LeBron joined Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. They guaranteed 7 championships, but they went 2-2 in the finals. In 2011, they lost to a 36-year-old Dirk Nowitzki and a Dallas Mavericks team with no other All-Stars. Shaq exposed the hidden ego nightmare in Philadelphia, and media hype cannot cover up basic basketball reality. This Sixers super team is a ticking time bomb waiting for its first losing streak. If you want raw sports commentary that tells you the truth instead of feeding you fairy tales, smash that like button and subscribe.